That game took so many twists and turns. Obviously, LSU has not played this year without Hornsby. After we played today, you got to think he could have done something in their last game. I mean, I'd like to say that we didn't know he could shoot a three. We didn't guard him. That kid was making some hard shots. Sometimes you play sometimes you can play great defense, and it's just better offense. And that was a lot of the case tonight. He hit some unbelievably difficult shots, and a lot of them he weren't even square. But he was feeling it. That league I spent 6 years in, I saw that a lot of nights from guys where they just catch it and they start shooting it before they even start turning. I mean, if the microphone's the basket, he's catching it here and is turning his shoulders and shooting it over outstretched arms. And but give him credit. He made some difficult shots. And after, for a while there, you started thinking about justice or balance. We kept missing wide open 15-footers where nobody's guarding us, and he's hitting circus shots. But those wide open 15-footers, they win a lot of games for you, but they also can lose games. So our guys better understand the importance of those free throws and start buckling down on those a little bit better. But it's a big win for us for a lot of reasons. We're a program that's developing, and obviously we're building this thing brick by brick. I'm proud of our guys' effort. I'm proud of how the way they hung in there. Obviously, we spent a lot of time preparing for Simmons. But I thought we did a great job on Simmons. Obviously, not so good on Hornsby. And I thought the Quarterman kid was really good tonight. They got a good team. They're really talented, very, very talented team. In our league, SMU, Cincinnati, Connecticut, that's what those teams look like too. Really, really talented group.
What did you guys do on it? It just looked like Simmons was never able to get into kind of.
Yeah, we didn't ever want to double him because he's such a great passer. One of the mistakes you make sometimes is when you play a great player is always put two on him. But if you put two on him, he'll have 30 assists. There's a lot of guys that you double guys that can't pass. Don't double guys that can. That's always been my rule. What we did was put a man and a half on him. We always had somebody. We always wanted him thinking somebody was coming. But we stayed there. And, unfortunately for Devontae actually did a great job. But, with this new emphasis with the officiating, they're going to call any kind of scrape. It's not even a bump. It's just any kind of contact is going to be a foul. And unfortunately for us, Devontae played, I think Devontae played 4 minutes the first half, and I think Rob might have played 5.5 or 6. So we go into halftime up 9 without, probably our 2 best players. Don't even play in the first half. And then the second half, the Quarterman kid and the Hornsby kid got going. But, Galen Robinson's a tough little freshman. Rob Gray's a good little sophomore. We got some good young players in our team. Chickens is junior. We got a lot of young guys that we're building with. And, they found a way to win. But Simmons' kid is, he's a really good player. He's only going to be in college 1 year, obviously. I coached one of those guys in Indiana, Eric Gordon. When you coach a one-and-done kid, it's tough for him because he's going to get every team's best shot. I have no idea who they play next, but somebody's going to watch this film and watch what, some of the things we did. And he's going to get everybody's best shot. But that's why kids like Hornsby and Quarterman, those kids have to step up for LSU. Because Simmons, a lot of nights, they're going to put raps on him.
Coach, when an opponent comes in with players so hyped like Simmons, you guys win. How much can that be a boost for your team?
I think it's more of a boost to our fans and to the perception outside our program. We had a game plan for Simmons, sure, but our focus was on beating LSU. I don't think that it's a good question, obviously, but I think that it's really good for us as it pertains to people outside our program. It's on national TV. It's a great game for college basketball. Anytime you get a 105-98 game versus a 58-55 game, it's great for college. But the perception of Houston basketball will go up. Because, Ben Simmons is, probably going to be the #1 pick in the draft. They got a lot of really, really talented players. And, we've got a bunch of kids that, this is our first recruiting class. We haven't even had a second recruiting class yet. But we know what we can do within our program. I like our players. We're learning how to play together, learning who should shoot the ball, who should not. Offensive rebounding is always going to be a key in our program. But it's a great win for us outside of our locker room. It really was. Inside our locker room, we have a game Wednesday night. But people will talk about this nationally. People will talk about this in our city. And this will give us a good bump.
You went with Chicken as a starting role, right?
Well, I told Chicken, I said, Chicken, I'm not getting anything out of you off the bench, son. I might as well start you. But really, Chicken's a good player. And I was trying to figure out how to use Kyle. It's early in the season. There's no decisions made. You just, it's like I tell our local media a lot. We're still trying to find some things. This is the first year these guys have played together. I thought we played well in spurts at Rhode Island. We had the ball down 58-54, under 3 minutes to go, and we just never could get, put two possessions together. But I knew that Chicken was a much better player than what he was playing. And sometimes when you put him in that starting lineup, their ears prick up. Some guys or some horses race better on race day than they do in those practice runs. And I've seen Chicken play good. I saw him get 31 against Tulane. But I think Chicken can play better. We made a concerted effort to go to him on the post. We kept throwing it down there to him, and he kept delivering. So, but it was good for him. It's good for our team too. That's another guy that can step up and play for us.
I like how your guards play, especially late in the game and overtime.
Yeah, we're a guard dominant team. We don't have a, what's the kid's name? Number 3, Robinson. We don't have a big physical center. We don't have a big man per se. The strength of our team's our guards. That's why spacing is so important. If you notice, Rob always had great driving lanes because the floor is spaced so much. Rob gets into the lane. I don't know how many assists Rob had. How many assists do you have, Rob, tonight? 1? So all you had was 1 assist. But Dot, remember him, Dot hit big 3 in the corner? Was that from you? Did you throw that to him? Or was that wishful thinking?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. But that was a byproduct of our spacing. We keep the floor space, our big screen, and roll hard to the rim, and that opens the floor up, and we try to create driving lanes. But Galen, Ronnie, Rob, Dot and LaRon really aren't attacking guards. They're just big wings that can make threes and rebound. But we've got a good mix of guys. Probably our best player up to this point in the season has been Devontae overall. What do you have tonight? He had 10 points and 6 rebounds in 26 minutes. And he wasn't really a major factor in the game. But that just shows you the strength of our team. I've said many times thus far this season, the strength of our team, is our depth. We have a lot of guys that can help us win a game.
What was your mindset going into the second half, or in the second half period when you kind of took over?
I was just trying to help the team. First half was very limited, so the second half I just want to come out and whether it was getting other people's shots or getting myself shots or even making a defensive play, I just wanted to kind of impact the game and try to help us to win.
As a team, when you guys are right there and then he hits that shot to force over, how do you go from there to getting off to that quick start there in overtime, just kind of putting it past you at that point?
Yeah, just moving on to the next play. That's what we always practice. And once he hit the shot, regulation was pretty much over, so we just knew we had to win in overtime, and that's what we started to prioritize and get ready for.
Chicken, what was different for you, if anything, tonight in the game?
Just playing with more confidence.
How about starting? That was different.
All right, just starting and playing with a lot more confidence, you know, getting in the flow a little more, offensive rebound, just staying locked in, really. It'll prepare me for this game.
Did the start give you a boost? Was that gave you that boost today, or was it competing against Ben Simmons, competing against LSU fans? What gave you that big boost today?
To be honest, I can't tell you. It just happened. That's all I can say. It just happened.
Anything else? Coach, I have one last question. Can you, what kind of impact did the crowd have? Obviously, season high, 7,900 people here tonight.
Yeah, first of all, that's the way it should be. You know, I've been doing this a long time. That's what we see when we go on the road. You know, Rhode Island had 8,000 or 9,000 fans. SMU's packed, Cincinnati's packed, Memphis is packed, Cincinnati's, I said Cincinnati, others. I mean, everywhere we go is packed. And because we're such a high-scoring team, we're going to see a lot of fans. We're going to help other teams fill their arena. But you know, I've always said you've got to earn the right to have a big crowd. I think we're earning that. And I know a lot of people came to this game to see the Simmons kid, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If I had a chance, if I were a fan and I had a chance to see the projected #1 pick in the draft and he was in my city, I'd make an effort to go. But what I'm really hoping is that a lot of people that came to watch the game, Ben Simmons, that may not have necessarily come to see the Houston Cougars, that they'll come back. That they like what they saw with our guys, with our kids, and the effort they played, and was entertained. You know, because our goal is to fill that gym, and we're only be in that gym another year or so before it's going to be completely renovated, and it's going to be a beautiful, beautiful. Coupled with that brand new development center and the brand new renovated Huffines, this is going to be a basketball mecca around here. So people need to start getting on board. We're a fun team to watch, and you know we want to be the city of Houston's college basketball team. We're fun to watch, and our kids play hard, man.